to our July council meeting here in the town of Miami Lakes. It's a great day in our community. I know it's a little rainy, but we're going to get started. I'm going to ask the chair of our Veterans Committee, Michael Coote, to come join us for a second as we have some special presentations today. And the other members, whoever else is here from the Veterans Affairs Committee. Got it.
All right, well, thank you, everybody. This is a little added bonus for us. You know, a lot of times what we do is done in relative isolation, so this is fantastic to have such a big crowd, although I know many of you are not here for this. But it's probably important to, especially for the citizens of the town of Miami Lakes, to recognize collectively the people that have donated. In this case, we're recognizing the folks that have donated to the Veterans Committee. But, and that's what these plaques here are. But the banners that you see on 154th, the Jingle Bell Jog, there's a race around December that we've done. The Veterans Day Parade, of course. And also, many of you might not be aware, but we also dedicate a tree every year to a veteran or service member who's died, and we plant that over in Picnic Park West. So there's really a lot of things that we're doing on behalf of veterans, and that's a testament to our elected officials and to the citizens of Miami Lakes. But beyond that, of course, a lot of these things require money, and so we don't have the resources to necessarily do everything we want to do. So that's why we wanted to take a moment and recognize the people that have made many of these events possible. Because the generosity goes beyond just supporting an event. It's supporting the town of Miami Lakes. It's supporting the men and women in uniform, supporting our veterans, and in large part, it's supporting the United States of America. So in the military, when we did awards, oftentimes at the end, we'd say, you know, for your heroism, for your courage, for your contributions. And then we would say, it's kind of a thing that's written on the award, it would say, your actions reflect great credit on you, great credit on, in this case, the town of Miami Lakes, and great credit on the country of the United States. So without further ado, I would like to say thank you so much from the heart to all of the folks that have contributed to make our events possible here in town. And the very first sponsor we'd like to recognize is Andy's Police Supply. No, I didn't either. Yep. And then next, A&P Air Conditioner. Yeah. No. If you would, could you please? Yeah. Next, we'd like to recognize the Graham Companies.
I tend to talk too much.
Next, Mr. Fred Senra from Miami Lakes Auto Mall. Like the microphone? No? Okay. Thank you. Is there a representative from Headquarters Toyota? Yes. Specialized Investigation Consultants. split-second timing. And lastly, Z Roofing and Waterproofing Company. Yeah. Have somebody to take a photo? Yeah. I'm going to jump in. Yep. Nicole, Mario.
Great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to our Veterans Committee, the chair, all the members, all the sponsors. You know, without your hard work, we wouldn't be able to do all these great events in our community and honor veterans the way we do. I know we're going to have a special item today on the agenda in that regard. So put your hands together for our state representatives here in Miami Lakes. You have State Representative Alex Rizzo and Representative Tom Fabricio. I think they're bringing some gifts with them. A very important gift in our community. So I'll let you guys jump into it with, you know, the explanation, all the hard work during session, how hard it is to get something passed in the budget. This is their first year in Tallahassee. They're freshmen, so they're learning the ropes. But you know what? They did a great job, and I know they brought something very, very important back to our community. So if you guys just want to talk about that before you present that very special gift.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Town Council. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen from Miami Lakes. So my name is Tom Fabricio. I am one of your state representatives. I represent District 103, which is west of the Palmetto. And this is Alex Rizzo, and he'll speak with you in a second. We went to work on this project. One of the things that I talked about on the campaign was that I wanted to bring back money for every single municipality in District 103, including Miami Lakes, and we did that. We worked very hard. We put this appropriations project together. I worked with Representative Rizzo, and we got it done. We fought for you, Miami Lakes, and here we are to bring you the check. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Representative. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, all the council members and town manager and clerk. Thank you. Thank you for braving the rain this evening to get out here. As Representative Fabricio said, we split Miami Lakes in the legislature. My district is 110, which is from the Palmetto East. So I have the east side of Miami Lakes, and Representative Fabricio has the west side of Miami Lakes. But what we did, working in conjunction with your state senator, Senator Manny Diaz, who apologizes that could not be here. He's working with the governor on a project right now. We vowed when we took office, actually before we took office, that we would not play politics with our districts, that we would take the municipality, and because we have such a good relationship with the governor, with the mayor and the rest of your town council, that we would work as one. So it doesn't matter that, for example, Royal Oaks is in Representative Fabricio's district, or that perhaps this side where Town Hall is in my district, that we would treat Miami Lakes as one and love it and care for it and nurture it like if it was our own. And so we did that. And so we went to Tallahassee. This was our first year, as the mayor said, and we worked, again, hand in hand with Senator Manny Diaz, and we were able to secure a much-needed addition to the ongoing drainage project that is and has been going on in Royal Oaks. And so with that, we will present this, but we will vow, and I know Representative Fabricio feels this way, we will continue to do everything that we can to represent each and every one of you in Tallahassee with the best of our ability, and I pray to God that we can continue to do that for the near future and well into a few more years, a few more legislative sessions. So thank you very much.
So today's a rainy day in Miami Lakes, and we know how important stormwater is. So check this out. They're bringing back $440,000 to the town of Miami Lakes. Thank you, gentlemen. You guys want to get a... We got to run to the bank and cash that immediately, right? We want to make sure we put those projects to work as soon as possible. So thank you guys very, very much. Thank you.
Spend it all in one place, Wade.
Give it up for State Representative Rizzo and State Representative Fabricio. $440,000. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. You guys don't have to leave. You can hang out with us. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I'm going to ask Gladys if you can please come on up. One of the initiatives that we have taken on as a body, and something that the mayor continues to support, and actually I give a lot of credit to Councilwoman Rano, is making Miami Lakes an inclusive community. That means including everybody that lives here, works here, or plays here. And this year in particular has been a very challenging year for everybody, but those with special needs most importantly. And one of the things that we wanted to do today was honor those individuals who, with their abilities, were able to graduate, whether it be college, university, or just high school. They made a major accomplishment, which we think is important to recognize. With that, I'm going to pass the microphone to who I call the godmother of special needs here in our community, Councilwoman Rano.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And thank you to the mayor who has supported this initiative from day one. I really appreciate the support that he gives to this, to our all-inclusive Miami Lakes vision. For me, special needs is near and dear, right? And there's a lot of faces in this room that I see. There's an amazing Zumba instructor that I can see from right over here, that I know that her classes are spectacular. And there is an artist in the room, Mr. Johnny Linares. You can see his artwork. It's here in Town Hall. So there's so many different talents. There's some of you that I don't know yet, but so many talented members of our community. And graduating is difficult for all of us. I remember my time in school was rough, long nights, difficult moments. So the fact that we have some graduates that are extra special in this room makes me very, very, very proud. So on behalf of all of us, I extend my congratulations to each and every one of you, and I will pass it back to the Vice Mayor.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. I am in the town. I'm very proud to have Gigi's Playhouse, which is a Down Syndrome Achievement Center that we provide free service from babies all the way to adults. And what we want to accomplish is acceptance for all. We all different ways, so diversity is amazing. We have to have diversity. It's something that we need in life. So having Gigi's Playhouse in a community like Miami Lakes is being incredible. They have bring us so much love in the community. We only been here for 1 month and a half, and it's been amazing. We are servicing about 100 families right now, and every day we get different families that come from everywhere, not just only Miami Lakes. We're serving people from Pompano Beach, from Fort Lauderdale, from Boynton Beach, from Kendall, from Homestead. So this is an opportunity for us to really bring the willness and the kindness of helping these individuals that they can actually do whatever they want in life. They just need those tools. They need the opportunities of business. They give them the opportunity and give them they can do it. They can do it like everybody else, but they just need that opportunity. And today they're showing you that they are graduating from high school. They will be going to college, and there will be someone in life. There will be someone that someone in life that can accomplish many goals, and that's what we're here to help them. And I'm very proud of that community, like Miami Lakes, because they're being a great supporter for us. So thank you so much.
So being an inclusive community, the Vice Mayor had asked if we can recognize, I believe, 4 very special individuals here in the town of Miami Lakes. So, Vice Mayor.
Thank you so much. I'm going to start off from Barbara Goldman High School, class of 2021, Sophia Cardoso. Please come on up. Sophia, you are no stranger to a microphone. Do you want to say anything?
Okay, about this, I gotta say thank you to the girls, Maddie, Chantal, and Rochelle, Robert, Mom, Dad, and Oliver, my uncle Manny, my dad's brother, Adrian, and Oliver, Dio, and most importantly, Mom and Dad, and Blanca and Mima, Mercedes Garcia.
And I just want to say something. She loves to cook, and you have to follow her. Chiqui Sassy. Okay, Instagram. She's a great chef. Chiqui Sassy. Follow her because she's gonna be an amazing chef, and she's gonna be making everybody super happy and with her food. And she's incredible. She loves being on the TV. She loves like people. Incredible person.
Did you get a picture? Sophie, can you come back for a picture? Right here, right here. One more, Sophie. Thank you. Congratulations. So the next graduate that we are going to recognize is by far someone that has been a friend of mine for a very, very long time and the absolute ultimate Miami Dolphins fan ever. He's a graduate from Kaiser University. Congratulations to Mr. Johnny Linares. The biggest Dolphin fan you will ever meet, ever. And Johnny loves a microphone as well, so we'll pass it over.
I wanted to say thanks to my mother, to my father, and to my two older brothers, Yoval, who's with me, and Yavani, who's not with us. And I also wanted to thank God for giving me an opportunity that I wanted to have. And most importantly, I will do my very best to succeed in my career. And that career, of course, has to be video gaming. Let's go, Fins, and Fins up.
Thank you so much, Johnny. Will you take a picture with us?
Sure. And thanks a lot.
Of course.
Alrighty, so I have the opportunity and the honor of calling up our next recipient of this recognition, straight from Hollandale High School, so class of 2021, Keyshawn Anthony Thompson. Please come up, man. Keyshawn, congratulations, and again, if you'd like to say some words, now's your chance.
Sure, of course. Thank you for coming, Ms. Grandson. I love you in my heart. Thank you for thank you for helping us for USA, to fight for us, fight for Cuba. Make some noise.
Well done, man.
Alrighty, and believe it or not, from my alma mater, Miami Sunset Senior High School, I'd like to recognize Sarah Brunn on your graduation. There you go. Go Knights. Would you like to say something?
Oh yeah.
Thank you, but my mother, my sister, my dad, my other brother, I love so much. My mother is amazing, special, kind, and gorgeous. But Hannah, and best DJ in car. Sweet, gorgeous, and dad. Great husband, great father, my trip, my brother. I love him so much. The guy is be here with me. And my mother is my role model. And my sister is one of a kind. My dad is amazing husband and dad. My brother is always believe in me. My mother. And that's it.
Let's take a picture. No, come back, come back. Let's get a photo. Go Knights.
Thank you so much. And the work that we do in this community would not be possible without the support of our mayor. And the mayor has been a champion for this cause from day one. And every year, the mayor hosts a gala. This year will be on September 26th. So if you find it in your hearts, we'd love to invite you to come out and support our mayor's gala. It supports the work of the Special Needs Advisory Board, which makes sure that we continue to live on with our mission to be an all-inclusive community. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you, Mayor.
And congratulations again to the graduates. We wish you guys all the best. God bless. So thank you guys very much. I'm now going to be recognizing some very important individuals in our community that have been working very hard with our martial arts karate program here in the town of Miami Lakes. Want to call them up with us today. We have Anthony Smith. Anthony. By the way, Anthony, this is for real. Anthony is on vacation. They're like 3-4 hours away. He heard about this and he was like, no, they drove back just to be here tonight. That's how important it is. Gotta get in the middle, man. I think you guys are driving back now. All right.
Absolutely, thank you. The next person that we are recognizing is Miss Brenda Mojiga. Thank you so much, Brenda.
Congratulations. Next up, we have Bridget. Please come on up. There we go. Congratulations.
Alrighty, next up we have Mr. Abraham Mugica.
I know our in-house black belts didn't say any words, but if you guys want to do a demonstration, come on up. All right, I'm good with it if you guys want to try it. So a lot of folks don't know, but our longtime executive director of the Miami Lakes Chamber of Commerce, a friend to us all, a great member of our community who loved this town dearly, who worked hard every single day to recruit new businesses, passed away recently. And to us, it's tough, right, when you lose a member, especially of the Miami Lakes family, who's given up so many years for the benefit of the community. But at the same time, I think it's really important to celebrate their life and celebrate them and their legacy and what they left behind. And Martha Diaz was someone who, literally, we would talk to her almost on a weekly basis, and we miss her dearly. So we have a very special gift to her legacy. And I know we have Fred Senra and Magali Rubio here today, and Sarah here today. The entire, all the chamber folks, if you guys can come on up. And the vice mayor is going to read this off, and if you all want to talk about Martha a little bit more. But yeah, it's was really sad when I found out about it, but now looking back, you get a smile on your face when you realize how much somebody loved our town and how much they gave back for the community. And I mean, I just remember walking into the Shulas every time, and Martha being one of the first folks coming up to me and all excited, telling me, "Hey, we got a packed house today. Are you ready?" And I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss that, her energy and how much she loved our community. But Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas Martha Diaz has lived in the town of Miami Lakes for many years and has devoted her time to her family and friends, and whereas she became a member of the Miami Lakes Chamber of Commerce 13 years and as an executive director, and whereas Martha was known to be very willing to help, religious, spiritual, loyal, stood her ground when necessary, and a good friend, whereas she represented the community in many ways and was loved by many, and whereas Martha Diaz is considered family to the town of Miami Lakes and the Miami Lakes Chamber of Commerce.
Now, therefore, I, Manny Sid, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Miami Lakes, and on behalf of the town council and all 33,000 Miami Lakers, do hereby proclaim July 13th, 2021 as Martha Diaz Day here in the town of Miami Lakes.
Well, I guess I have to say a couple of words right now as the president of the chamber. I had the pleasure of, actually Magali knew her from many moons ago. I met her when I joined the chamber probably about 9 years ago or so. She was a devoted individual. She dedicated 13 years of her life. And her family, her friends, were all of us in the chamber. That's the type of person that she was. She was a very reserved type of person. She never liked to take any pictures. As a matter of fact, we are putting something on social media. I told them, let's wait until the town of Miami Lakes did this presentation to do our thing on social media, and we found only one picture that probably a few years ago. She looked very young, even though she looked very, very nice, when she was working with us. But it is good, and I thank the council and mayor for recognizing and for dedicating this time to a person that dedicated her life, pretty much, to the town of Miami Lakes and the Chamber of Commerce. So thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
No, I just want to say that I had the privilege of being not only work with her on the years that I was president of the chamber, but as a friend, a very unique person a person that had her, you couldn't imagine how she felt, how she acted, how she devoted the time to the chamber without taking a day of vacation or anything. She will be missed. We love you, Marta.
No, we just say, I wanted to say thank you, and we love you. And I know Martha, it will be over there looking at this day. I'm very happy.
She also worked with her for so many years.
I did work with her, and I certainly enjoyed it. And I think you all have expressed very well what everything that needs to be said. So thank you to you guys and to all of you.
You want to come to the middle, or?
Thank you. I know Martha's watching up from heaven, and you know how important this is for her and for her friends that are here today. So I know she has a smile on her face. You know, all her years of service here being recognized today. So thank you to the members of the chamber for coming out today and recognizing and honoring her legacy. So talking about the Miami Lakes family and how we grow beautifully, right? Not only as a community, but as a family. I'm going to call, today is a special day in our community that we're going to be recognizing several folks. So we have Carlos, who's a great friend. He's the owner, one of Pharma Natural here in our community. David Leyva, Miguel Diaz, who is here. So if you guys can join us up here. I mean, these are folks that from the moment they moved their business here to the town of Miami Lakes, they become family. I mean, these folks are amazing. Pharma Natural we're so fortunate to have a business of their caliber here in our community. But I know the day that we visited their facility, there was something in particular that was very near and dear to them, that they were working very hard to make sure that they had a line of products and research. So here in the town of Miami Lakes, we wanted to make sure that we recognize your work, and we recognize today as World Fragile X Day here in the community. So if Councilwoman Hirano, if you could help me read the proclamation.
Sure. I didn't bring my eyes. Whereas Fragile X syndrome, FXS, is the most common inherited cause of autism and intellectual disabilities worldwide, affecting people from every race, income level, and nationality. And whereas over 1.5 million Americans are carriers of Fragile X mutation and thus have or are at risk of developing a Fragile X associated disorder, and over 100,000 Americans have Fragile X syndrome. And whereas, although the genetic defect causing Fragile X has been discovered and is easily identified by DNA testing, Fragile X frequently goes undetected due to its recent discovery and the lack of awareness about the syndrome, even within the medical community. And whereas, with concerted research efforts, effective treatments, and ultimately a cure for FXS may be developed, and whereas Fragile X research, both basic and applied, has been vastly underfunded despite the prevalence of the disorder and potential for development of a cure, the established benefits of available treatments and intervention, and the significance of Fragile X research has for related disorders. And whereas Fragile X is a powerful research model for psychiatric disorders, excuse me, I didn't bring my eyes, such as autism. Doing a great job. Very small letters. Autism, schizophrenia, invasive developmental disorders and similar conditions, including Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, reproductive problems in women, and other genetically based medical conditions. And whereas raising awareness for Fragile X with the public and medical community will help individuals with Fragile X gene mutation make better informed medical decisions and help those living with Fragile X syndrome to adapt into society and provide significant contributions towards better understanding autism and other Fragile X associated conditions.
Now, therefore, I, Manny Sid, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Miami Lakes, and on behalf of the town council and all 33,000 Miami Lakers, do hereby proclaim July 22nd, 2021 as World Fragile X Day here in the town of Miami Lakes.
Wow. Well, just want to say my wife couldn't be here today. Her father is, which is the owner of the company. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to work on this. Thanks to his funds and her heart and determination, and our nephew. Just thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and Pharma Natural is they're members of our family. The moment they moved here, I mean, they were completely all in to helping our community. We call them and they're like, you know what, whatever you guys need during the pandemic, donations, I mean, you name it. So we really appreciate you guys, and whatever you need from us to continue pushing awareness, continue talking about Fragile X. And I know we were just talking about up here how important it is, that advocacy. You know, count on us to do that, because our goal is to be an inclusive community, and that's something that's very, very important to us. So thank you guys very much for pushing that advocacy forward. That concludes our presentations today. I appreciate everybody being up here. Now we're going to start the serious business, so you all are more than invited to hang out, but if not, we're going to take a 2-minute recess to start the meeting. We're going to start calling this meeting to order. It is 6:44. 6:44. We're about to call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Fernandez.
Present.
Councilmember Diegues.
Here.
Councilmember Alvarez is absent. Councilmember Rodriguez is absent. Councilmember Ruano. Vice Mayor Collazo.
Present.
Mayor Sid.
Present.
Mayor, you have quorum.
Before we do our prayer today, Councilman Jeffrey Rodriguez is not here with us today because his mother passed away 2 days ago. I've known Maritza Rodriguez since I was 5 years old. Jeff and I were on the same Little League baseball team and the same kindergarten class, so I've known the family forever, and they're a very tight-knit family, incredibly honorable. A really great woman Maritza was, but please keep the Rodriguez family in your prayers, because I can tell you it's been very, very, very difficult past several days for the entire family, and so when we pray today, please let's keep Jeff, his sister, his kids, the entire family, Gisela, everybody, Joe, in our prayers as I mean it's tough for, definitely it's very, very difficult for them, and I've known Maritza and it's really, really extremely sad, but let's please keep them in your prayers. Leading our prayer today is Anthony Diegues, Councilman Josh Diegues' dad, who's here with us today. He's going to be praying in our council meeting today, and we're going to have two prayers today because we're going to have Anthony pray today, and we're also going to have Fred Senra say a prayer as well. If you all may rise, please.
You said before, when you adjourn, let's get down to the serious business of the city or the town. But in fact, I don't think there was anything more serious than what you did, honoring special needs people and bringing to fore the importance of having a heart for people that are special needs. It shows your heart, and I want to congratulate you for that. Father God, we just come before you. We pray for our nation. We pray for this town. We pray, Father, at this time, for the councilman, and we pray for Cuba. We ask that government of the people, by the people, and for the people would be shared in the country of Cuba. We thank you, Lord, for your guidance. We help, Lord, and we ask, Lord, that you would help stem any violence in Cuba, Lord, and that they would be able to, again, have the opportunity, Lord, to have democracy rule their land. And we thank you again that this nation, as it goes through any storms, that you would guide it with your light from above. And we pray in the name of our Lord Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, members of the council and staff members. I want to share with you a very simple prayer that I read to myself every single day. God is always with you. God said he'd never leave nor turn his face away. He offers ample strength for each and every day. So no matter how you feel or what you are going through, remember that you're not alone, for God is always with you. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Senra. Thank you, Mr. Diegues. Really appreciate both of you setting the tone for our council meeting today. We know how important prayer is, especially prayer for our loved ones that have passed away, like Maritza Rodriguez, and also our brothers and sisters in Cuba that are getting literally killed just for speaking out and wanting freedom. The Pledge of Allegiance today is going to be led by Councilman Josh Diegues.
Okay, everyone repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you. On to the order of business. Any addition, deferrals, deletions? Councilman Fernandez.
Yes, I would like to move item 12A to right after special presentations.
Right. 12A to right after?
Special presentations, after 9B.
12A after 9B. Anyone else? I'm going to go ahead and move my item 14A and include it as part of the Veterans Committee report. So 14A and 8C together.
I'd also like to combine a couple of items. There are two new business items. 14D, 14E that have to do with Miami Lakes Optimist Park. So if we can either combine it with the presentation, the monthly presentation, or bring the monthly presentation up to when we discuss those two items. Either way is okay with me.
So 14D and 14E onto the 16B.
Mm-hmm.
Any objection? Okay.
I'll move the agenda as amended.
Second.
It's a motion to move the agenda. There's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. On to public comments. Madam Clerk.
Good evening. Please be advised that in this public meeting, it is open for everyone. Public meetings will be held and welcome to everyone. Let me read the proper decorum. Okay. Public comments will be heard at the beginning of each meeting, and all comments or questions from the attending public shall be directed to the mayor in a courteous tone. To ensure the orderly conduct and efficiency of this meeting, public comments shall be limited to 3 minutes maximum per person. No clapping, applauding, heckling, verbal outbursts in support of or in opposition to a speaker or her remarks shall be permitted. Should a member of the attending audience become unruly or behave in any manner that disrupts the orderly and efficient conduct of this meeting, such person will be asked to leave the meeting. And as a courtesy to others, all electronic devices must be set to silent mode to avoid the disruption of the proceedings. In accordance with the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, persons needing special accommodations to participate in this meeting should always call Town Hall 2 days in advance. Thank you and welcome. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, whoever wants to participate in public comments, please just approach the podium, state your name and address for the record, and welcome to council chambers. Thank you.
Good evening to all. My name is Angelo Garcia, 16441 Northwest, 77th Place. Basically, I'm here today to see who can give me and our constituents a little feedback on something that I heard over the weekend. I was canvassing over at Satori this past week, and I was talking to one of the constituents, and they brought to my attention something that was pretty, interesting. Maybe some of you might know about it. There's rumors out there that state that we're going to be looking at opening or fabricating a hospital on 154th Street and 87th Avenue. I don't know if that's true or not. If that in the future comes in front of this council, it would be detrimental to our neighborhoods. Just think of, we've been talking about gridlock traffic for the longest. Imagine thinking of opening a hospital there. What would happen if we don't have a hospital there yet? What would happen to that bridge of 154th Street? Just think about it. It wouldn't become gridlock. There's another word that I've been trying to think of bigger than gridlock. So my worries are that we think very carefully when that comes in front of you, how are you going to proceed with that hospital? If we would have used a little common sense back when I brought an idea 20 years ago to annex the west side of 75, today we would not have the issue that we have with the bridge at 170th. It'd be taken care of. We'd have full control of it. But that's not happening. So please, this is just something that was brought to my attention, and I will be canvassing that whole entire neighborhood, and I'm sure that I'm going to get so much information, and I'd like to be able to share something fair with them of what's coming to the back of their, as they call them, the back of my house. Having a hospital in the back of my house? So we'll figure it out. That's something that, so please be very careful when that comes in front of you, because I don't even think it's properly, you can have a zoning to have a hospital there. It'd have to come in front of you to have it rezoned. So think about it. It's just something that I'm throwing out to you guys to be very careful when we get ready to make that decision. Thank you very much. And by the way, I didn't get my 3 minutes. I got 2 minutes and 37 seconds, so you shorted me on my system. Okay? 2 minutes and 37 seconds, you put the alarm on me. So that's not fair.
Thank you, Angelo. Public comments. Anybody else from the public wishing to speak?
Hello, council members and Mr. Gastesi and Mr. Peterman and staff. Oh, it's Bonnie Cintrone, Lewis Road, 14770 Lewis Road. It appears that you are considering implementing yet another project that will make use of a government grant. I do not know if there is a real need for a safe route to school in the Bob Graham area, but I do know that the Safe Route to School project installed from the elementary school to the junior high was a colossal waste of money. Only one relatively short stretch needed to be redone, but the existing sidewalks already in place were more than adequate considering the amount of use that they got. The wordage in the grant, which I saw on the computer when I looked at your agenda, it's not exactly the same wordage as I see here on your agenda, because on the computer I saw things like racial equity and areas of persistent poverty, and I wondered to myself, how in the world would any of that apply for Miami Lakes infrastructure? But I'm just trying to say, please stop trying to acquire more government grants for our town, because they always have strings attached, and the stipulations often hurt us rather than help, like requiring a 10-foot wide sidewalk, which was just over the top. It might perhaps be wiser to consider a moratorium on future development, because the town is really maxed out with population and traffic. I think we have grown as beautiful as we need to be, and we should just now be concerned with managing well what is already here. So I'd say keep working on mitigating the flooding issues and enhancing the traffic flow. but we don't need to concern ourselves too much about multimodal transportation. But we could surely use a more advertised and vociferous effort to implement the plans to get access to I-75 for West Hialeah without opening the bridges to through traffic, especially 154th. We got to stay on that. And other things need your attention as well, like the fact that the FAA obviously has not modified the approach or takeoff pattern for the main runway at Opelika. It's still a very wide funnel shape rather than the direct narrow corridor from 2 miles out. So many residential homes are exposed daily to the danger of low-flying airplanes. And we're still waiting for our cul-de-sacs to get upgraded, and the fact that we spend money to improve the Optimus Park when it doesn't belong to the town is another issue that causes a lot of stress for residents. So the bottom line would be that I hope you would listen to the residents and have full disclosure and public discussion of your ideas before you actually take action on them. Thank you.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Evening, everybody. Miguel Martinez, 17670 Northwest 78th Avenue. I'm coming today not as a chair of a committee. I'm coming as a resident, if I may. That chair, I know he can be a nice guy, but he's really stubborn and he's frustrated. A couple months ago, there was a chair meeting and things were discussed. Things didn't come out of that meeting. One of the things being that the committee members, that be a process in which vetting the members be addressed. At the last committee chair meeting, it was requested specifically to be placed on the agenda for tonight for you guys to discuss it. It's not. It's a pretty simple item, the chair believes, and it looks like the other chairs were in agreement with him, but it's not here. So I'm requesting that it be addressed. The next thing is that chair of the Blasting Advisory Board at the previous council meeting had a request of several items that the council unanimously approved, starting with the website to sign a letter written by the mayor, and it's still not there. It's very simple. But it was a letter to the president, and it has to do with something that's affecting everybody, this community and the adjacent communities. It's nice to see that Miami Lakes be a leader in this, which it's been. That chair has been fortunate to be part of it, but unfortunately it's not being supported. I don't know where the issue is. If the council is approving something unanimously, that staff doesn't follow it up. There's also a PDF form filler of the letter for the chief financial officer for the complaints. It appears that the CFO's office heard us, and the CFO's office converted their form into a fillable form as what was requested, making life a lot simpler. However, the process in which submitting still hasn't been done and corrected, which was requested. It was also advised by a 16-year-old kid, the application which is an add-on to your website, simply done, but also has not been done. There are meeting rooms in this building that aren't being utilized. And the reason not being utilized is because they don't have access, quote unquote, to web cameras. I have a $27 webcam in my office. It's not a big deal. We're getting a lot of complaints. There's a lot of stuff in the air that people can't participate in the meetings, and they would like to, as before. So as a recommendation to please consider a $27 webcam, hook up to a laptop, use your cell phone, whatever. So these items, again, that I'd like to address them, or have you guys address them. We appreciate your help and support in all these matters, but I think it'll be a better for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Mr. Martinez, by your remarks, I do want to indulge you in one aspect. Those remarks from the previous committee meeting were brought up during my briefing. I don't know if it was brought up in other briefings. And I think the recommendation from the town attorney was to have a comprehensive workshop where we reopen the committee rules, kind of like we did this year, and that will be forthcoming. So you were heard. It was not falling on deaf ears. It just might not be happening at this meeting, but look forward to a future meeting. Thank you.
I'll let the chair know then. Thanks.
Absolutely. Let the chair. Now you're worrying me about you talking in third person, but that's it.
Good evening, Council. My name is Brian Morera. I reside at 15853 Northwest 91st Court. I currently have the distinct honor of serving as the president of the Satori Homeowners Association. In that role, I currently represent the interest of 482 Miami Lakes homeowners. Now, I understand that this item is not yet before the council, but I thought it worthwhile to inform you all now, at the outset, where Satori residents and I am sure most Miami Lakes residents stand on this issue with regard to the proposed hospital. For starters, a building of this type and size has no business being built where it would be surrounded by single-family homes to the north, to the west, and to the south, and by a green space and a Native American archaeological site to the east. Such a hospital would generate constant noise, and the towering six-story structure of the main hospital tower would create an uncomfortable deprivation of privacy for residents in their own backyards, with patients and visitors having unobstructed views into their yards and homes, and the proximity of the four-story parking garage that they have planned on the north side of the property would essentially be a gigantic wall in several backyards because it is so close to the property line. I should also note, interestingly, that all of the ugly sights, sounds, and smells of the loading dock, the helipad, which I understand they've apparently decided to remove from the plans, but the helipad and the CEP, which is the power plant, are intentionally pointed directly at Satori. So essentially, the proposed structure alone would kill property values in Satori, especially for those nearest to where the hospital will be. Now, the effects of this hospital would be felt far beyond Satori's gates. The project will not exist in a vacuum, and instead it will be felt throughout Miami Lakes. To compensate for the nearly 4,200 daily new vehicles that this hospital will place on the street, this town is going to end up needing to expand 154th Street. It's going to require removing existing oak trees, killing our tree canopy that we so value. To accommodate large truck traffic, we'll likely need to destroy the rotunda, the roundabout, at 154th Street and 89th Avenue. This council has promised to ensure that the 154th Street Bridge would never open to vehicle traffic and to instead build an iconic bridge park. But this hospital would not only kill the hope of that bridge park ever getting built, but rather would be used as a weapon to open that bridge to vehicle traffic. Make no mistake, they're gonna put this on you. They're gonna make you the bad guy. They're gonna say that you are the ones killing people by not opening that bridge. And they're gonna make it impossible to keep that bridge closed. And when it does open, it's gonna be you who has to make the decision to destroy Jakey Duque Park.
Thank you. I apologize. There's a time limit, and I appreciate your brevity. Thank you. Absolutely.
Good evening, Council. My name is Josh Rios, 15382 Southwest 138th Terrace, Miami, Florida, 33196. I'm here tonight in support of Councilman Josh Diegues' resolution in support of what's happening in Cuba, because, you know, us as the majority Cubans here in Miami-Dade County, 60% of us, I think, we need to stand in solidarity with the Cuban people right now more than ever. What's happening there in Cuba is not happening in a vacuum. It's not because of vaccines. It's not because of lack of food. It's 62 years of tyranny, of communist dictatorship. Let's talk about it how it is. Unlike the president who says it's just an authoritarian regime. It is a communist dictatorship. So I'm here supporting Councilman Diegues' resolution because I feel like other municipalities need to pass such a resolution as well. I know yesterday I was able to speak in the city of Sweetwater with Commissioner Ian Vallecillo, who brought the first item to my knowledge in support of what's happening in Cuba. And I think all other municipalities need to follow suit in that. So I really thank Councilman Diegues, and I thank all you guys in the council too for, you know, I hope you guys approve it, but because, you know, it's been too long. As a first generation Cuban American, we need to see some action. I hope, and as his resolution says, the resolution will be sent to the White House and will be sent to the Secretary of State. So let's see if something does happen out of this, because I think now more than ever is the right time to make sure something happens here in 90 miles away from us. So once again, thank you, Council, and I look forward to going to other municipalities hoping to pass similar legislation so we can get this going in Cuba. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Nilda Toro with the address of 8189 Northwest 154 Terrace, Miami Lakes. I'm a veteran with 30 years in service. I've lived all my life next to military structures, to include military medevac helicopters. So I understand the requirements and its purpose. I want to bring awareness on the effects of a proposed construction of the hospital in Miami Lakes on 87th Avenue and 154th Street, next to several residential areas at Satori, Royal Palm Estates, and others. After seeing the master plan for the proposed hospital, I noticed that the plan includes a helipad. The consequences of a helicopter pad in an urban area without the proper planning are significant. We're not building homes around a hospital. We're building a hospital around homes. Most hospitals with an aviation component have space requirements, both on land and in air, for an obstacle-free for landing, takeoff, and hovering. Building a new structure with a helipad in the middle of an urban area will not have the space requirements needed for a safe environment for the community, since the obstacle-free zone needed is compromised with community property in place already. The new structure will be proximity of homes with tile roofing and backyards with freestanding objects that will become airborne, which potentially can cause any injuries. Satori residents near this structure will need to be confined and having property in their backyards for fear to be destroyed by the high winds or to become weapons to injure others. The liability to bring anyone into your backyard will be too high for anyone to take, since our own helicopters will be available in trying to save some lives. The rotary wing will expose our homes to extreme structural vibrations due to low-frequency vibrations, high winds, and damage. Our homes are built to withstand hurricane winds by code. Most of our homes have hurricane-certified windows. Many others use window shutters for protection, but a hurricane comes and goes in 1 or 2 days. A helipad and helicopters will be in our backyards every day. Our homes are not ready to withstand this type of winds in an everyday fashion. Our roof tiles will suffer. Our structural vibrations in our homes will bring damages, and our liability and high insurance will become of a high cost for all the residents. In addition to that, we will lose privacy in having a high-standing high-story building next to our homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Toro.
Thank you for your service as well.
Anybody else in the audience for public comments? Anybody else in the audience wishing to make public comments? Ms. Lucis.
Claudia Lucis, 8220 Menteith Terrace. Good evening, everyone. Back on the issue of the Optimist Park Improvement Project. Since we're fresh on the heels of the Building Ad Hoc Committee and the communication issues that apparently existed, figured maybe we could address another communication issue. Why is it that 2.5 years later, after direction by this council was given to staff, do we still not have park design options? I repeated these same comments last month. No answer. The only thing we received was an admission that, yes, it has been 2 years. Well, guess what? That's not acceptable. Everyone here has been elected to represent the residents. You are stewards of our tax dollars. That is what you are tasked to do. So how this question goes unanswered is beyond me. It's $17 million. I stood here back May 2019 and heard the words, "That number's hysterical." That's not an accurate number. We have a menu. We have a list of items. We're going to come back to you with options. Are we going to blame COVID again? Enough is enough. Where is the accountability? We're talking about Cuba and holding government, right, accountable. Guess what I'm doing right now? The same to you guys. Where is the follow-through on this project? $17 million. Just want to remind everyone, because I know that there's some people here that perhaps haven't attended before, this is on top of all of the other bonds that were being discussed as well. We do not have $17 million to improve Optimist Park. As a matter of fact, letter dated back, I think it was November of 2019, from Mayor Sid to the chair, Ms. Perla Taveras-Hampton, talks about a $4 million improvement. This was 2017. Now we're at $17 million. Who made the decision to submit a $17 million design to Miami-Dade County Public Schools? Who's willing to ask the question? I've asked for a public records request. I understand it's generated over 1,000 emails. Maybe related to it, maybe not. Thank you to everybody who's working on it. I know apparently this is a task, but I guess this is the route I have to go when the question won't be answered. $17 million and not a peep. But in 3 months, we had a building ad hoc committee. We've had 5 employees leave from the building department. Guess that was pressing, not 17 million. So on the heels of this, I want to make sure that this issue, and I hope that this issue gets addressed, because in that letter dating 2017, the town expressed interest in purchasing or in acquiring 2 acres at Royal Oaks Park in exchange for a $4 million improvement at the park, not 17. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lucis. And the same courtesy that I gave Mr. Martinez, I'm going to give you as well. The item was brought forward during my briefing. I don't know if it was brought forward in anybody else's briefing. And we were advised, or at least I was advised, that in August we'd be having a workshop to address some of those concerns and be presenting the options. Just giving you the same courtesy I gave Mr. Martinez and giving you some feedback. Thank you. Any other public comments in the audience? Any, Madam Clerk, online?
Yes, thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm going to call the names that I see as participants online. If you do want to submit your public comments, welcome. Just state your name and address. And I'm going to start with Ms. Esperanza Hope Reynolds.
Esperanza Reynolds, 8465 Menteith Terrace. Good evening. Tonight, rather than attempt to influence government, I want to exercise my fundamental right to use my 3 minutes to pray for those who are grieving in town of Miami Lakes and for those who are suffering, struggling for freedom in the island of Cuba, for those who have died abandoned without medical attention or sustenance. We pray for the protection of the government here, there, and everywhere. Please, Gina, let the clock run the rest of my 3 minutes. Allow that my 3 minutes be used for everyone to elevate a prayer. Dear God, let there be peace on earth. Dear God, let liberty return to the island of Cuba. Dear God, let my 96-year-old uncle and 92-year-old aunt see Cuba free again. Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Reynolds. The next speaker that I see, Dawn, please turn off the timer because I cannot see the participants list. And I know, thank you, Dawn. Okay, the next speaker, Ms. Angelica Mendoza. If you wish to speak, please do so now. Unmute yourself. If not, just let us know. Ms. Angelica Mendoza. Okay, the next speaker that I see is Ms. Mirta Bello. Again, if you are here for public comments, please unmute yourself. State your name and address for the record. Ms. Mirta Bello. The next participant that I see in my screen is Gigi. I also see Lika. Mr. Daniel Lam. And I see, of course, Maurice Acosta, which I believe he will be participating during the ordinance in second reading. Those are all the participants that I see. I have called them all. Mayor and Vice Mayor, those are the ones that I have
I'm going
called.
to turn the mic back over to the mayor. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I appreciate that. We're back on to the next item, but before we get to there, I know I skipped something earlier, which was our Mindful Minute by Ariel Fernandez from the Better You Minute. I know I missed
Thank
Ariel.
you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, council members, staff, and residents of the town that's growing beautifully, Miami Lakes. Over the last few weeks, we've experienced our fair share of summer showers. Many of us love them. I've enjoyed the rain since I was young. For me, it has always been a sign of life and an opportunity for refreshing rebirth. These summer showers help cool off our afternoons and keep our plants fresh and growing. Have you ever taken the time to see as the water falls and how the plants seem to come to life when the water touches them? These same rain showers can be refreshing for us as well as signs of life. Don't see the rain as an impediment or an obstacle. As the rain comes down around us, sit outside and watch it come down. Take time to appreciate the rain.
Thank you, Ariel. I appreciate you always sharing the Better You Minute with us. We really, really appreciate you. We're moving on to committee reports. Were there any items that you guys moved up from additions, deferrals, deletions?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, go ahead, Madam Clerk.
No, go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Item 14A is with item 8C on special presentations. After A and B, there's item 12A. And I think 14D and E were combined along with the manager's report for 16B.
And we have appointments before.
Right.
Committee
We have committee reports, then special presentations, then 12A.
Got it. Committee reports.
Appointment.
Appointments, I'm so sorry. Appointments, then committee reports,
Got it.
then special presentations, and then 12A, ordinance in second reading.
Got it. So for committee reports, nominations, we have George Colina to the Blasting Advisory Board by Mayor Manny Cid, Brian Morea to the Blasting Advisory Board by Mayor Manny Cid, Rafael de la Vega to Blasting Advisory Board by Councilman Carlos Alvarez, Alexandra Alonso to the Elderly Affairs Committee by Councilman Josh Diegues, Jackie Vacour to the Education Advisory Board by Councilwoman Marilyn Ruano, and Francisco Dolenich to the Special Needs Advisory Board by Councilman Tony Fernandez. Any motions on the table?
I'll move to approve the list of nominees.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
If any of the folks, anyone opposed, seeing none, the motion passes. Any of the folks that we mentioned here in person, please stand up. Let's give these folks a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you for joining Team Miami Lakes. We really appreciate you. Our community is great. It's growing beautifully because folks like you that want to give back and make our community better. So thank you guys very, very much, and thank you to everybody that participated in our committees. Thank you. We're moving on to committee reports. We have item 8A, Sports Hall of Fame Committee.
Good evening, Mayor Cid, council members, town staff. My name is Roman Garcia. I've had the pleasure of serving as the chairman of the Sports Hall of Fame Committee now going on 4 years. With me this evening is a Hall of Fame member and also a committee member, Jim Hamilton. We come to you this month as we finally, getting sort of past this COVID stuff. We're able to meet in person and look to, I know I made a promise to you guys that I would come to you with at least 90 days notice when we postponed our event in June of 2020. We finally came up with rescheduling our induction of the class of 2020, which was approved by this council that included the late coach Howard Schnellenberger, Gus Gandarillas, Miriam Ochoa, Roland Gomez, and the late coach Mike Uspensky. And with this, the committee asked to schedule our class of 2020 induction for Saturday evening, December the 4th, to start at 6 p.m. at Miami Lakes Optimist Park outside of the venue where the Hall of Fame is currently situated. Another item that we bring to your attention is, due to the fact that we have now skipped 2 induction classes, the committee wants to grow this event. This event was started when Mayor Sid was a council member, and every year's gotten bigger and bigger, and I think we're outgrowing the hall there at Miami Lakes Park, at the Optimist Center, at the new building. So we are asking for a slight increase in our budget line item for next fiscal year of 22 to go from $400 that we are allocated, that we've been allocated for the last couple of years and obviously haven't used it, to an operating budget of $1,000. That in line with, we're adding a new sponsorship level of a title sponsor, as we've lost our title sponsor currently. We're adding a new sponsorship level of a title sponsor, and then keeping our current gold, silver, and bronze levels of sponsorship. So not only are we asking for the raise in the budget line, we're also going to be attacking sponsors and getting more sponsorship dollars to make this event bigger. I know we already have spoken to one sponsor who's going to help us out with that. We envision this event being, at least for December, if we get it approved, we want to do it outside of the Optimist Clubhouse in a tent where we can do the ceremony outdoors. When we go to present the members of the Hall of Fame class or the family members there representing them, we'll bring them indoors to the Optimist Club like we've done in the past, unveil their plaques, and then we can open up the Hall of Fame to the public that's there. But at this point, I mean, in the last couple of years, we've had to limit the amount of people we can invite. Our goal is obviously, as the Hall of Fame grows, is to bring the former Hall of Famers that are already enshrined, bring them back with their families so they can continue to visit the Hall of Fame. For years now, I mean, I was one of the first 2 members of this committee, and we've always said we wanted to make this a public event, not just limited to those that are being inducted. And by adding a little bit of money to our budget and then us going out and getting, with town support and stuff like that, getting more sponsors money, I think we can do that. The committee is looking to expand the ceremony eventually, opening it fully to the public and having the town be able to experience the ceremony that I think has gotten. I'm proud of the time I've served on the committee with the ceremonies I've been. I think it's now 4 classes. This will be our 4th. Right. And then another item that we bring to your attention is that we've foregone the class of 2021 due to the pandemic. We didn't have any nominations, so we pushed that class out completely. So our next class will be the class of 2022, but we're asking for permission to obviously hold our class of 2020 on December 4th. So I'll be here for any questions or, any comments.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Questions, comments, council? Anyone have anything for the chair? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. That was easy.
That was easy. Thank you, guys. We'll look forward to seeing you guys on December 4th at the Optimist Club.
Jim, before you leave, just because there's a lot of kids here in the audience and in person, can you tell everybody how many? Jim's the longest, the active volunteer in Miami Lakes history. How long have you been volunteering here in the community?
Since 1973.
1973. So
it's a good year.
He's setting the bar high,
I'm still young.
No. You got many, many more years. So I just wanted to thank you, Jim, because I know you set that bar high of volunteerism and active citizenship here in our community. So it's always great for you to be in our presence and for the young folks to hear from you and just see that example of giving back, you know, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Chair. That was real easy, so. Thank you. All right, great job. We look forward to a great event. We're on to the Youth Activities Task Force. Chair Rodriguez.
Good evening, Council. For all those that don't know me, my name is Brian Rodriguez. I am the chair for the Youth Activities Task Force. I am coming on 9 years now as being part of this committee since high school. Before I get into this report, I just want to say thank you to everyone, and thank you to all my committee members and all volunteers that we've had in this last year with the whole pandemic. We have been hard at work, and we are still hard at work in making this town the best when it comes to youth activities. Okay, so today I am just here to request on behalf of the Youth Activities Task Force to move all available funds that we have left in our budget to our new or our last event of the budget year, which is our end of summer bash. It is a new event, or an old event with a new purpose to the event. It is our old ice cream social that we have rebranded.
Got it. I'll move it.
Second.
Any questions of the chair? Seeing none. You got Councilwoman Ron.
I had a question regarding your activities in the future. Are we going to be going back to our regularly scheduled activities at the parks and whatnot, or are we going to continue the, I guess, new events, right, like the parades and things that we've altered due to COVID?
So with restrictions going down and being able to go back to normal, I would have to bring it up to the committee, but it looks like we are going back to normal. Some events that we brought new, like our new Winterfest parade, may stay, just because of the turnout that we had at that specific event, where we had it in the park at one point, didn't have the best turnout, and when we turned it into a parade, the turnout was more than what we could have ever asked for a $0 event. So it looks like we are going back to what we had in the past with our more popular events, and hopefully trying to rebrand the events that weren't as popular back then. And we noticed in the pandemic that they are more popular now of how we were doing it under the restrictions that we had.
Okay, well, I love the events that we used to have. I like to gather at the parks and at our public facilities. I'm not such a fan of the parades. So if you could relay that to the committee, I'd really like to see us go back to normal. I'm anxiously awaiting that. But thank you so much for all the hard work that you've done and for all the revamping that you did during COVID to keep us still entertained and to keep the youth happy in the community.
Of course,
thank you.
and thank you guys for allowing us to continue our events. I know a lot of committees were very limited on what they could do, but our committee was fortunate enough to do every single event that we had on our budget in a timely manner, even if it was a little bit later. We were able to do everything except for one, which was the bike rodeo, and we did bring it back this year as the first in-person event back, or big event back for the town, so we appreciate it.
Any further questions of the chair? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, and to all the volunteers on the Youth Activities Task Force. Appreciate you. The next committee is Veterans Affairs Committee. Chair Coote is here with us.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, Madam Councilwoman, my gentlemen council members, Mr. Manager, Madam Clerk, Mr. Attorney, and the staff. Of course, I can't forget our boys in blue. Always great to see you guys. Thank you so much for your service. It is an absolute thrill to be here, and I had mentioned earlier this evening about the support that the town has given us, and it really is quite remarkable. And it goes beyond just supporting a committee. You're supporting a group of veterans and active duty, and it really does, as I've said to you individually and collectively, it really makes a difference, and it matters a lot to us. On that note, it was a very productive last quarter, and if I could indulge you for 3 minutes, I would like to play our video that we put together as part of the Banner Tribute campaign. If you would please direct your attention to the TV screens. many of the people that live in the town have roots in the military with either fathers, uncles, mothers, brothers, sisters. And so there was a sense that they wanted to reach out and to say thank you, rather than, as often people will say thank you for your service, but they wanted to do something a little bit more. And so that was the nexus for the idea of the banner campaign. If you wanted to get some good exercise on a tree-lined lane, you could start at one end and walk, probably about a 2-mile loop, which would provide you an interesting insight into the people that are being honored, going back to World War II to the present. As the Veterans Committee chairperson for the town of Miami Lakes, and a veteran myself of 35 years, I can tell you that it means the world to us collectively. And those aren't empty words. And quite frankly, the support that veterans have in the town goes beyond hanging banners up. It's the Veterans Day Parade that is the longest running Veterans Day Parade in South Florida. There's a Veterans Memorial outside of Town Hall, which serves as a subtle reminder to people coming to Town Hall to conduct their business that veterans figure prominently in the fabric of the town. There is an Arbor Day event where we plant a tree, recognize a veteran or active duty service member. This year we recognized 2 personnel. One was Lance Corporal Jack Ryan Ostrovsky, who died on active duty as a U.S. Marine. And we recognize Master Sergeant George Deming, who had served for many years and retired and dedicated his efforts to support the youth of this town. We didn't do it for recognition. While we appreciate the recognition, we are the sons that went off to war. We are the daughters that left their families behind. We're the fathers that didn't get to spend Christmas with their children, the mothers who didn't get to celebrate birthdays. We came from towns just like this all across America. And it's nice to come home. Yeah. And so this is all thanks to you, our elected officials and the staff that does so much for our town. So thank you, really. And so that's a great segue then to give you our report. In March, we did the Arbor Day event, which you saw highlighted there. The banner campaign was completed right before Memorial Day. We have 94 banners that are hanging up presently on 154th. The military banner campaign video was produced by Ghani Films, did a tremendous job. On June 28th, during the committee chair meeting, which I understand, Mr. Vice Mayor, you said that there's going to be a working group meeting, I think at the recommendation of town council, to address some of the committee chair rules. If I'm not mistaken, I think you said there was a working group.
What was presented to me during my briefing was the opportunity to reopen up the committee rules as we did previously, and then give all the committee chairs an opportunity to opine. I will probably be presenting that item in a future town council meeting. So that was the nature of the briefing that I got from our town attorney.
Fantastic, and we did. I think it was mentioned by one of the chairperson's people that there were a few recommendations. So I'll skip over that item, given the fact that we hope that we'll have the opportunity to address them perhaps in August. The recognition awards this evening was a tremendous success, and as we mentioned, we really couldn't do what we do without the support of the generous donations of the people in this town. For the future events, September 11th, Farmer Natural last year, you might remember, supported the 9/11 event, which we've reached out to them, and we want to do that event again. And so just want to put that on your calendars, or if that's something we have to vote on. We have received their support. They are going to donate the flags, and we'll endeavor then to put them up, the 2,997 flags honoring the people that died on 9/11. I don't know if that requires anything from council other to put it on the calendar, or no? Okay. In November, we, of course, as was pointed out, we have the longest running Veterans Day parade in South Florida. Last year we did a vehicle parade just to keep the good times rolling. This year we'd like to, of course, do it in person. We think we'll have the flexibility to do that. But beyond that, if anybody's been to the Veterans Day parade, you'll know that everybody's very happy to participate. You know, everybody, you know, the school bands, and then as soon as we hit the finish line, everybody runs off to their cars because there really is nothing left. And there's a few group, maybe 30 or 40 veterans that do a little veterans thing, and that's it. Veterans Day is over. And we voted in the committee, we'd of course seeking approval from the council, but we would like to do a Veterans Day event. Have it terminate either at the park, Picnic Park West, and then have food trucks, music, and make a full day of it. It'll be, we could do that on obviously the weekend in November. November 11th is Veterans Day, so it would either be the weekend before or the weekend after. But, you know, it's a great time of the year before we get into the holidays. And so we are proposing as a committee for council's consideration to have a full-on event at it was suggested Picnic Park West obviously doesn't have to be there, but we really wanted to do something where people could socialize and just celebrate the day rather than just march for 2 hours and then head off to your cars. So, and then in December, the Jingle Bell Jog, which we had done up until last year, which we had to put a hold on because of COVID. That's in December, I think December, if I'm not mistaken, December 19th is a event, a half marathon in Fort Lauderdale. We certainly wouldn't want to be in competition with them, so we're proposing December 12th as a tentative date for the Jingle Bell Jog, which we've run here in the town. It was quite successful, and we'd like to do it again this year. With the proceeds from that event, which I think you're all familiar with, in 2018, we gave the money to the Fisher House, which was allowing families to stay at no cost while their loved ones are being treated at the hospital. And then in 2019, we ended up with $16,000 that went to Fishing with America's Finest, which is a piscatorial fishing therapy, if you will. And that group has supported 5,000 veterans. So really great work from a small little town, the little town that could. So absolutely great work. Thank you. So then the two proposals that we have for consideration. One, Mr. Vice Mayor moved item 14C, I believe, E, and that is the committee is recommending a renaming of the Picnic Park West to Veterans Park. And we would like to do that in large part because currently the park is Picnic Park West. Certainly not to take anything away from the name, but we think with all the support that veterans receive in the town of Miami Lakes, that it certainly would be feasible to consider a name change. We also did the Arbor Day events where we planted trees in honor of the deceased veterans. It's also the place where we do our 4th of July celebration. And so the committee voted for your consideration. That is a name change. We're proposing a name change of Picnic Park West to Veterans Park, which is an item supported and endorsed by Mr. Vice Mayor Luis Caiazzo.
I'd like to make a motion at this time to support the Veterans Committee on the name change of Picnic Park West to Miami Lakes Veterans Park.
Second.
I got a friendly amendment since we're talking about that park. I'd love to make a motion to name the room, the hall, inside of that Picnic Park West to either the Civic Association Hall and to honor the Civic Association, who's never gotten pretty much any kind of applause from anyone, or Slayton Hall, whatever. I mean, being the founding mayor, but the Civic Association Hall. So I just want to make a motion, friendly amendment to that extent.
I'm fine with both of the variations.
I'll second the amendment.
Any Vice Mayor, anyone in particular? I'm good with either. I think maybe Slayton Hall would be a nice.
I think Slayton Hall has a nicer ring to it than you're discussing. You're talking about the room where we
Yep.
meet inside.
Yep.
I mean, not to split the baby.
No, that's fine.
And maybe the entire building can be named after the Civic Association, and maybe one of the
No,
rooms
it's-
inside call it.
it has a name already.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So.
Oh,
So
that's
for
right,
now,
that's right.
Slane. So that was a motion. Slane Hall inside.
The first room.
Yep.
Which is the Mary Collins?
Yes.
Rename it?
No.
Oh.
The hall. We got this. We got this. The clerk is writing down minutes. Don't worry.
Yes, what I understood is inside, right? One of the rooms, the hall, Slayton Hall.
Yep.
Not outside. It's just inside.
So name both
The
rooms,
interior.
because there's two different rooms.
Yeah,
You
the main- the
You want
room.
to name one
The
after the
main
Civic
room.
Association and the other one after Wayne Slayton.
Yep. That's fine.
That's easy. Better to ask the questions up front, Mayor. So there's no.
But the clerk never messes up with minutes.
So you're suggesting to name each room a different, to give each room inside the building a different name?
Mayor?
There's a larger room that gets divided, that has dividers, right? But there's a larger room, and there's a smaller room in the back where I believe the American Legion meets.
And then there's another one in the
And
front.
there's another room in the front,
where
correct?
the Boy Scouts used to meet.
Correct. Now I'm confused.
No, I'm good. I'm good with that though. So we can name one Slayton
Yeah,
Hall. and the other one
there's
Civic.
4 rooms. We can do Civic Association 1 and 2, Slayton 3 and 4, or vice versa, or whatever.
Yep. That's fine. I think it's important.
And the deputy town attorney says that for these renamings, that it's supposed to be a public hearing, so you may want to.
What?
Lorenzo?
I think that's the Josh Dieguez naming rights
This is not
item.
this is not
the first time it's gonna.
No, but this is not
It falls within the ordinance, Mr. Mayor, and I think that was part of the ordinance that required anytime that you wanted to propose any type of naming
You-
change.
you gotta bring it
that
back
would have
anyway,
to
so-
come back in the form of a public hearing.
You got to bring it back anyway, so that's fine. We'll pass it today, and you bring it back next month. Thank you. All right. Any further discussion on the friendly amendment? None. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. Back on to the main motion as amended. I just want to say I'm in full favor. Thank you to the vice mayor for bringing this up. I would, being full transparency, I would love to see you guys keep some of the proceeds from Jingle Bell Jog. Maybe do some programming for veterans with that money at that park. You know what I mean? Just kind of food. I don't want to say, hey, make a motion, but I would love, similar to how one of the ways where folks really love what the Special Needs Advisory Board does is that we raise the money and they see that product, happening here. But just food for thought in the future. But I'm 100% in support.
I wanted to add.
Yes,
I'd
Councilwoman
like to
Juan.
add something. I'm a creature of habit, so renaming things gives me anxiety. And I know that the community, it'll take them a little bit, right, to get used to a new name, and it's always been Picnic Park West. So I'd really like to see, I love the idea of a veterans park, right? I think that there is no more beautiful thing, right, than to honor our veterans. I love what we have here, the memorial that we have here. I'd like to see something like that at the park, where the residents can see the change and see that this is the park that we use for these activities, and have something that's visible that will identify the park. So I'd love to kind of attach this maybe to an art in public places kind of item where we could maybe think about, or maybe the committee can think about, something that we can install at the park that would identify the park as Veterans Park. So I'm in favor of the renaming, even though I like my things the way I like them, but I'd like to see something where the residents could walk in and say, this is Veterans Park. I'd really like to see that. Sometimes the signage isn't enough. So maybe in the future we can look at something like that.
That sounds like a fantastic idea. Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you.
Any further discussion, council, before I give it back to the Vice Mayor? And thank you, Vice Mayor, for bringing this up. I know one of the things that you pride yourself in is going to, right when we pass it, we'll do that. So we have about 20 seconds. But I know one thing that the Vice Mayor really prides himself with is going to the committees, listening and hearing these types of things and presenting it to the council. So thank you for bringing it up, because I think it's definitely well deserved.
Thank you. No, I have no further remarks.
Very good. Then the last item, which I had meant.
Well, let's pass this real quick. All
Okay.
those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes.
Mr. Borman is my lone Veterans Committee, the vice chair, actually. So thank you for coming, Mr. Borman. The last item, which I had mentioned a bit earlier, was the Veterans Day activities following the parade. Is that something that requires more discussion? Or is
Can
that,
you
we
repeat that?
voted on it, from our committee, we said we'd love to do it, but obviously it's a big event and would require the support of the town. So I don't know if that's something that needs to be voted on, because typically, as you know, we haven't done it that way in the past.
So we're going to take a vote on your entire report to accept it, right? So like we took the Vice Mayor's item out of town because it was a separate item, but your entire report, everything that you're reporting, if somebody has an issue with it, they'll bring it up, but if not, we're going to make a motion to approve the entire thing.
Okay.
But then just a point of information, because the chairman did bring up something that was discussed in my briefing, and it is a report and it is actionable, and there was a request made to relook at the committee rules. Can that be brought back as an item on part of the report?
Yeah, to schedule that?
Correct.
Yeah.
To direct staff to schedule the relooking at the committee rules, get the chairman's inputs on which rules can be amended, and then have that come back before council. Rather than wait a month to our next meeting for that to be a new business item, can we take action on that now to direct staff?
Yeah, we can just do it. You don't even need to take action. If you want to, fine, but we can just work on scheduling that. The next couple months are going to be a little busy because we have budget hearings and we have budget workshops, but we can work towards that and set something up, and maybe the opportune time may be at the next, because it's quarterly, at the next chairperson's meeting, we can allocate time for review of the rules, and then we can workshop it and have them do it right there on the fly.
Excellent, yes, because I know Chairman Martinez also brought that, well, he wasn't acting as Chairman Martinez at the time, but there was a gentleman that gave public comment to that effect, so if we can do that, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
I have a question. During the budget process, I know in the past we had one workshop that was dedicated to committees and committee budgets. Are we going to maintain that format?
What we did last year is we had a sunshine meeting, which is what you have scheduled for Thursday. You have a sunshine meeting dealing only with the general fund. And why that is because then, based on that, you'll be able to set the millage rate, which you have to set before the end of the month. So, and that's obviously based 100% on the general fund. So you're going to have that workshop on Thursday. We hope that everything should be signed, sealed, and delivered, because you'll be happily surprised that we will present to you a nice and easy balanced budget without $300,000 deficits or anything like that. So you're going to have a balanced budget presented to you. It could be modified or tweaked, but I think it'll be something that should be close to acceptable for you. That will be the basis for you setting the following week, that we had to call for a special call meeting. So it would be Tuesday the 20th, you have a special call meeting to set the millage rate. Following that, that's not the final budget, obviously. Then later, we'll do another sunshine meeting that will be a working meeting where you'll be able to address the entire budget. So the general fund plus all the other funds. And then once that's set, then we should be ready to go for presentation in September of your 2 budget hearings.
But there isn't a specific meeting for committees.
No, we've done it internally, and we've kind of had our recommendation based on, interaction with the liaisons and so forth.
Okay, no, yeah, I mean,
Now-
my suggestion was going to be to do it at that time since most of the committee
Right.
chairs come
Obviously,
to that.
it's a public meeting, your workshop's a public meeting. The committee chairs, if they have really a big request or something of that nature, they could always go and advocate at the workshop on Thursday and advocate for any changes to their budget.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion, council? Yes, Councilwoman Ferrano.
I'm so sorry. I have one more request for the committee. As I drive down the street with my son every year and we look at the banners, there's a lot of veterans that we identify, that we know from the town or that have volunteered at the town or that we kind of know them personally or know their story. And I always enjoy driving down the street with him or even walking down parts of the street and telling him the story of the veteran that we're looking at. Do you think that it would be feasible to maybe put together a little booklet or a little list of the veterans and maybe some interesting facts about them so that Miami Lakers can take their children on a tour and not just see a photograph but learn a little bit more? I know that right now we have Mr. Wester on the corner of where he used to live and he passed away recently, and so I always enjoy sharing that with my son. My baby's not a baby anymore. He's going to be 20 this year, so I've probably lost that privilege at this point. But I think it's of a lot of value to show the children who these people really are and what they did and where they served. And I was just wondering if that would be something that the committee could maybe put together, or would it be too tedious? I know that we had almost 100 banners this year, so I don't know if it would be too tedious to maybe ask as part of the application, perhaps to add, something that you would like the members of the community to know about your family member.
No, I think it's an absolute wonderful idea, Councilwoman. We had, in fact, Mr. Borman had mentioned we should number the polls so that we can, for purposes of putting them up and taking them down, but to take that one step further, which is, of course, why you're an elected official, that's a great idea.
You give me way too much credit.
That's great. Yeah, we certainly could do that, and I think I don't know what the formatting would be, if we would have it online, if it was be a pamphlet, but
Yeah, it could be something online that parents can download and take with them. We've done scavenger hunts and things like that in the past to engage with the children, and this would be just a nice stroll, right? It's like you said, it's maybe a 2-mile walk, and it would be nice maybe on a Sunday afternoon to take your kids up and down the street and
no, that's a wonderful
teach
idea.
them a little
No,
something
thank you
about our
for that.
veterans.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely wonderful. I think we would be easy to do.
Thank you. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
If I may, something to consider that I've seen done in similar circumstances would be doing, if you're going to have the biographies online, you could put QR codes on the polls. And so as people walk down, they can scan the QR code on the poll and it'll give them the information on the veteran. That might be a
That's
techie
why
way.
we have a techie on the council.
Larry's on board. I see him shaking his head. All right,
No,
any
that's
other?
great. Thank you. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments, council? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Thank you, Chair. We appreciate you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Vice Chair. Appreciate you too, and we appreciate the entire committee. Great job. We're moving on to the Education Advisory Board. I am not sure if they're here. The Education Advisory Board. All right, we'll move on. If the Education Advisory Board arrives, we'll recognize them. We're on to the item. Were there any other items that were moved up that I did not write down from deferrals, additions, deletions? 12A
Yes, 12A, after special presentations.
Got it. All right, so we're at 9A, introduction of our new CIP manager.
Yeah, and I was just informed a little while ago that she had an issue with one of her kids, had to rush the kid to the ER. Everything's fine, but she was unable to be here, so everything's good.
No
But,
worries,
so,
family first.
We'll defer that till next month and have it, but we do have 9B.
Introduction of our new Youth and Teen Program Coordinator.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jeremy Bagdown, Director of Parks and Recreation. I actually have the privilege of introducing one of our new players in our team here in the Parks Department. Mr. Austin Tubbs, who's here in attendance with us, comes to us from the city of Marathon. He has actually worked 6 years with them. You can already start making your way in, Austin. He's already been able to start programs over there, continue them, operate them, and manage them. Austin is a graduate from the same program I am, so from FIU, their program of sports management recreation. Go Panthers. Go Panthers. Austin's been with us now for quite some time, but this is probably the first time you guys might have seen him. He's been working behind the scenes actually pretty relentlessly. Austin has already been able to get us a grant moving forward with the United States Tennis Association. So as we continue to go ahead and make those renovations to Optimus and the courts coming soon for tennis, he's already working on some funding that's going to get our program started for equipment and hopefully get us running where he also brought his tennis program in Marathon up to over 100 participants. Over 100 participants within the few short months that he was running that program. So with that, I present to you Mr. Austin Tubbs.
Mr. Tubbs, welcome.
Thank you.
I hear you're gonna do amazing things with those tennis courts out there, so we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This seems like a very family-oriented and close-knit group, so I'm looking forward to being part of the team and the family.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. I had the opportunity to work with Mr. Tubbs very early on, and he helped out during the Father's Day fishing tournament. Now, being from Marathon, right, this guy is very, very well, it does very well around the water. But what was most important to me was the time that he took. He spent the entire day out there in the South Florida sun and made sure that event went off without a hitch. So very early on in your days here, your dedication and work ethic were recognized. So I appreciate that, Mr. Tubbs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Tubbs.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the next item, 12A, Councilman Fernandez.
Alrighty, this is an ordinance in second reading.
I've got to read it, Mr. Mayor.
Please.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to read it, okay?
Yes.
An ordinance of the Town of Miami Lakes, Florida relating to landscape regulations, amending Chapter 13, Land Development Code, Article 5, allowable encroachments into the required yards and exceptions to the maximum permitted heights. Section 13-1508, driveways and parking spaces, providing for repeal of laws in conflict, providing for severability, providing for inclusion into the code, and providing for an effective date.
Mr. Mayor, this is a public hearing, correct?
This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public wishing to speak on item 12A, permeable pavers? Anyone from the public wishing to speak on item 12A, please approach the podium at this moment. Madam Clerk, do you have somebody online that wants to speak on public comments for 12A?
I see as participant Mr. Maurice Acosta, but I believe he will be speaking later, right?
Yes, that is correct.
But we do see him. So welcome, Maurice. Thank you.
All right, seeing no members from the public wishing to speak, public comments, the public hearing is closed. We're back on to item 12A, Councilman Fernandez.
All right, and I'd like to yield the floor to the students from the Miami Lakes Middle Legal Studies Academy.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Sid and members of the Miami Lakes Town Council. My name is Jocelyn Hernandez, and today I am joined by my classmates, Gabriela Vega and Moritz Acosta, who was unable to make it, but will be eagerly joining us via Zoom. We have prepared a presentation for you to update you on our policy in second reading, and we hope you enjoy. On July 6th, we went to the Planning and Zoning Board for the second time with our updated policy. They voted unanimously to recommend approval and also made some suggestions regarding the wording.
After hearing yours and the Planning and Zoning Board suggestions, we met with staff to revise and edit the ordinance. It was then concluded that the removal of the 50-50 reduction was best for the policy. The ordinance you see in front of you now is the edited version. The ordinance in the edited version allows residents to have up to 70% of paved area if the use of permeable pavers or a material with equivalent effect and proper installation is used. It also calls for the use of native grasses and bushes in the remaining green area. Here you see some of the concerns that were brought up by the Planning and Zoning Board in the previous meeting we were there. There was a concern about increasing the paved area, which reduces the green area. Although this is true, our policy does promote green by requiring native grasses and bushes to be planted. In addition to this, our research has found that permeable pavers are highly efficient at absorbing water. Another concern was, how will you define permeable pavers in your ordinance? So our ordinance requires that the permeable pavers are installed following the manufacturer's requirements. As you will see in the upcoming slides, what mostly defines a permeable paver is how it is installed. Another concern was, are these materials accessible? Can you buy them? Can they be installed locally? So we found that there are several local companies that install permeable pavers. We actually reached out to a few of them, and we will go over that in the future slides.
This is a chart that more or less explains and categorizes what permeable pavers are. So as you can see, permeable pavers is a type of pervious pavement, which is something that allows and permits for water passage. Permeable pavers isn't a specific material, but more of several materials that create a system which allow for easy flow of water. These are some images of examples of permeable pavers. So as you can see in the left corner is an example of a permeable concrete interlocking paver, which is on the surface is permeable pavers such as Aqualine and Stonehurst pavers that allow for water to flow through in the gaps of its joints. As you can see in the images in the middle are porous pavements such as porous asphalt and porous concrete. And to the top left corner, you can see turfstone, which is a type of concrete grid system, which is more for people that would like a more green look to their front yard, because it is a mixture of concrete and also grass. We would now like to play for you a demonstration that shows the different materials that are used in permeable paver systems and how they are installed. When we played this video for the Planning and Zoning Board, there was a technical-ish error in the audio, and we are not sure that error still exists, so we would like to see, and if it doesn't, Maurice will be explaining and voice-overing it throughout.
So the first rock that we put into our excavated hole is about 12 inches deep. It's called a 1.5-inch clear rock. Clear rock means there's no fines in it, and that's what makes it a permeable paver system. Because in those voids of this larger rock, the water pools, and then it can slowly infiltrate into our native soils. After the sub-base layer is put in, then we install 4 inches of this 3/4-inch clear rock. It provides stability for cars to drive on. The entire subbase and base together gives the paver system its stability and strength. The 4-inch base layer serves as a transition between the 1.5-inch rock and the 3/8-inch rock. The edging, be it stamped concrete like we've added, or a row of pavers, is a critical part of the system as it holds the pavers in place. Without the proper installation of edging, the system can fail. There are many different shapes and colors of permeable pavers. You want to pick out a paver that goes with your architecture and that you like. We sweep this rock in between the pavers. It allows the water to flow through as well as acts as a filter to trap any sediment that may clog the system. So check this out. Watch how quickly it disappears. So our permeable paver driveway is done. It's not only beautiful, but it's also functional. I've done my part in creating a positive impact on our environment. If you'd like to increase your property value, consider adopting some of these water-wise best management practices like we've done here. Some cities even offer incentives for homeowners to lead a more eco-friendly lifestyle. I'm Heidi Highland. Thanks for exploring.
So as you saw in that video, part of permeable pavers is the installation, because that is truly the key to the function. So we went out and found real companies that would service Miami Lakes. Those companies are Perfect Pavers of South Florida and Driveway by Design, and they offer different types of permeable pavers. One of them that is offered by both is the turf stone, turf block, or grass paver, which is pictured on the left, and that is specifically mentioned in our policy. And one thing we would like to clarify about these types of pavers is that the grass in the middle of it should not be part of the 30% that will be in the 70-30 ratio for the permeable pavers. Another thing that is key to the function of permeable pavers is the maintenance, because if not maintained correctly, they will not be able to let the water go in if things like soot or debris get in there. So maintenance is important, and it can even be compared to that of a traditional concrete driveway. So as needed or determined necessary, there is sweeping or vacuuming to get the debris out, and also pressure washing to clean the surface. Additionally, there is a sealing process that some companies offer depending on what type of sand is used to set in the pavers. So one of the companies, Perfect Pavers, actually does an annual sealing for the pavers to make sure that they are maintained.
So when it comes to the cost of permeable pavers, it is usually 10 to 20% more than materials such as concrete. It costs $6 to $14 to install per square foot, with including installations, and compared to concrete, which is $5 to $10 to install square foot. However, in the long run, concrete usually cracks very often and is usually needed to be replaced, and that can be from $5 to $15 per square foot to fix, depending on the person that's fixing it. And also, it can cost thousands of dollars to have a different stormwater management system without permeable pavers if you want to use why you are using concrete. Okay, well, we visited.
I'm
Anchor-
sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Perfect. I do apologize. I was having some technical malfunctions. I was muted. So we heard that the Anchorage community in the town required that all homes have pavers in their fronts and backyards. We contacted the Captain Group, which is the company that manages the Anchorage's Homeowners Association, and they confirmed that pavers are mandated. So as you can see, this is not something new. It has been used all over, including in our town. Here are some pictures of the materials that we took that day. And we heard that flooding goes away actually pretty rapidly in the community. Before I move on to the next slide, I would like to elaborate on the points made in the video. So that video made by the Minnehaha Creek Watershed District in Minnesota demonstrates how permeable pavers are installed. However, I did want to add that the way that they are installed depends on the installer, so it will not always be installed that way, but most do follow a similar process. So the company that we contacted, the Perfect Pavers of South Florida, they dig a 10-inch hole and then fill 6 inches of it with compacted lime rock, which is the most common used rock in permeable pavers in Florida. And then they top that with 3 inches of sand, followed by the pavers on top. And they fill the gap between the pavers with sand, but other installers may use another type of material.
We were kindly recommended and invited to a bike tour by resident Hope Reynolds, we visited the residential areas of Miami Lakes and visited 7 different HOAs. We talked and spoke to many residents, such as Ms. Bonnie Centrone and Mr. Miguel Martinez, president of the Blasting Advisory Board, and his wife. Throughout this tour, we enjoyed the experience, and we're glad that we took the opportunity. We got the intake of the homeowners' perspective on what we are doing, and we were able to see up front the issues that we are solving in Miami Lakes residents' front yards.
We wanted to keep you updated on progress made outside of these chambers. After the June council meeting, our teacher, Mrs. Deyarza, was contacted by Mr. David Smiley, a reporter for the Miami Herald. A little more than a week later, an article was published about our idea. Mary Rose Shinerman, who wrote the article, analyzed studies and reached out to experts. As stated by the quote on the bottom right, she also reached the conclusion that an increase of permeable pavement reduces flooding. We thank the council and staff for their time. This has been a great experience and opportunity for us to learn. I would like to thank staff for allowing me to join via Zoom and making the process very smoothly. We would now like to take any questions or comments.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the ordinance as presented.
I'll second it.
Questions of our incredible students from Miami Lakes Middle? No, you guys did a phenomenal job. We're in the middle of the summer where most kids are just hanging out, you know, not even worrying about school, and you guys are on the grind, you know, making sure this happens, going on tours of the town on bicycle. I also have to give a shout out to Susanna, who worked hand in hand with you guys. I mean, I'm sure the amount of phone calls you guys went back and forth, and she gave you guys that is awesome. We got to see more of that in government, where, you know, someone is extremely open to the ideas, and literally, I mean, you guys were traditionally, staff would be the one presenting. Susanna gave you guys that opportunity. You guys ran the show, so thank you, Susanna, for working with them so closely. But you guys are amazing. I'm 100% in favor of this. I think the impact that you're going to have in our town is not only passing it tonight, but it's just going forward. When you drive around the community, you're like, look at the permeable pavers. You know what I mean? Look at that 70-30. You know, that you could think back and say, hey, I did that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and that is remarkable. So thank you, specifically you three, for doing an amazing job and being great examples to future generations. So I'm 100% in favor. Anyone else? I'm sure everybody's going to want to say a few no.
No, it echoes some similar comments, and I said it to you the first time that you guys were here. Most kids are enjoying their summer break, and you guys are following through on something that you committed to do, and that is outstanding work ethic. And Maritz, I know you're joining us electronically. Your passion for civic-minded work it continues, and I'm looking forward to great things from all of you. So thank you so much for seeing this through. Thank you, Councilman Fernandez, for bringing this item forward. I know that maybe in the future we're even going to be, your project hasn't just stopped here, right? I know we're also going to maybe considering in the future maybe commercial applications, right? Because one thing is to make sure that individual homeowners get this, but when large businesses start adopting this, you really see that incremental change exponentially grow. So congratulations again, and great things are going to come from you. So thank you so much.
Councilman Ruano.
Thank you so much. I wanted to, your presentation is always spot on. The fact that you include everything that we can possibly ask for before we ask for it is amazing. So you are wonderful listeners, and I wanted to thank you for taking into account the concerns that we had when you presented previously, finding good solutions to them, and bringing back the final product that I will be approving tonight. So I really appreciate your hard work. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Maurice, we miss you. Town Hall is not the same when you're not here. So come join us again. Thank you so much, guys.
Councilman Dieguez.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and not to beat a dead horse here, but you guys have done a fantastic job with this project. You've really grabbed the bull by the horns here, and you're now about to get it over the finish line. So congratulations to all three of you, and thanks for everything you guys did to get this over the finish line. Have a good night.
Councilman Fernandez in closing.
And I will close it out, Mayor. So, you know, it's often easy for us to see something in our community we don't like, and, you know, we all express it differently. Sometimes, you know, people get angry, sometimes they complain, sometimes, you know, we have different outcomes, but what you guys chose to do was take the problem on, work the problem, find the solution, work with staff, and see it all the way to the finish line. And you guys are about 15 seconds away from changing the town code of the town of Miami Lakes. So I commend you on that. Mr. Mayor?
All right, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Item 12A, ordinance in second reading. Councilmember Fernandez.
Yes.
Councilmember Dieguez.
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez is absent. Councilmember Rodriguez is absent. Councilmember Ruano.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Collazo.
Yes.
Mayor Sid.
Yes.
The motion passes. Item 12A, ordinance in second reading.
Thank you so much. Have a great night. I would like to thank our sponsor, Councilman Fernandez, and also Ms. Alonso for all of her help. Thank you.
Amazing, thank you. Susanna, did you want to add anything, or you wanted to say if no? Okay, all right.
Don't mess it up now.
Great job, guys. You guys are amazing. So have a great summer, and thank you for making such an incredible impact in our community. Got it. That was amazing. That was truly amazing. Now we're on to the consent calendar. Any motions on consent?
Move to adopt the consent calendar.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes. We're moving on to ordinances in first reading. Item 11A, Mr. Attorney.
An ordinance of the Town of Miami Lakes, Florida, amending Chapter 13, Article 6 of the Town of Miami Lakes Code of Ordinance, creating Division 3, titled Short-Term Rentals, providing for inclusion into the code, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the town code, and providing for an effective date.
All right, are there any motions on the table, council?
I'd like to move the item.
I'll second it.
Any explanation you want to give, Councilman Fernandez? Or just moved it? All right, that's fine. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on item 11A.
Ordinance in first reading, 11A. Councilmember Fernandez.
Yes.
Councilmember Dieguez.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruano.
Yes.
Councilmember Rodriguez is absent. Councilmember Alvarez is absent. Vice Mayor Collazo.
Yes.
Mayor Sid.
Yes.
Ordinance in first reading, item 11A, passes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're on to item 11B. Mr. Attorney.
An ordinance
Our attorney, our deputy town attorney can give you that. It's an ordinance in first reading, so there's going to be another public hearing coming up next month. So it's still not in the books, but you can, if you have any comments, concerns, you can work with the sponsor, with Councilman Fernandez, or with our attorney, but it's coming back in August, so it is not.
It's on, what's proposed is online. In the agenda, what's proposed, the ordinance changes should be, it's online, yeah, in today's agenda. Correct.
No problem. We're moving on to item 11B. Mr. Attorney, you already read it, correct?
No, I don't think so. An ordinance of the Town of Miami Lakes, Florida, deleting Chapter 4, Article 5 of the Town of Miami Lakes Code of Ordinances and creating Chapter 13, Article 7, Section 13-1704, titled Green Building Program, providing for inclusion into the code, providing for repeal of ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the town code, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Councilman Diegues, this is your item. Anything you want to add on this?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So some of you may recall that this is the green building program that we approved as a new business item last year. Because of COVID and some other circumstances, it's finally coming in front of you tonight. For purposes of what you see in front of you for now, all it is doing is moving what currently exists in Section 4 of our code to Section 13, where the planner and other town officials can have easier access to its requirements. Because what would happen, apparently, as we discovered, is that in its current section, it was often overlooked, and so in fact, there were some town buildings that should have been constructed according to that code that were not, and so this is one way of just making it easier to find, so it's top of mind for our building officials. But the second reading, you will see some additional incentives placed on here, but that's the summary of what's in front of you tonight. It's basically moving what exists in Section 4 to Section 13, so it's part of the Land Development Code. So with that, I move the item as it is stated on the agenda.
I'll second that. Seeing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on item 11B, Green Building Program.
Councilmember Diegues.
Yes.
Councilmember Councilmember Ruano.
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez is absent. Councilmember Rodriguez is absent. Councilmember Fernandez is absent. Vice Mayor Collazo.
Yes.
Mayor Sid.
Yes.
Ordinance in first reading, 11B, passes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I know we're going to take if there's no objection, we're going to take an item out of order. I see the chair of our Education Advisory Board just walked in, and I think he's ready to do a report.
Good evening, everybody. I apologize for my appearance. Running a little late. We really don't have much to report other than we did present Miami Lakes Middle with their check. They were truly excited about that. Moving forward with the allocated Satori funds, we're waiting for Barbara Goldman to present their request along with the other schools that we have on the list. Coming this month, we probably will get the request from Barbara Goldman, so we will be moving forward with them. Other than that, the only request that we have is for approval of $856 from the extra teaching supplement account at Miami Lakes Middle to be transferred to the supplies account. So they obviously have some funds left over in that account that they want it to be transferred to the supplies account. So that is the only thing we have for this month to discuss.
I'll move it. Discussion, council. Any discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.
That was easy. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you to the entire committee. We're back on to ordinances in first reading, item 11C. Mr. Attorney.
An ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Miami Lakes, Florida, relating to emergency management, amending Chapter 2, Administration of the Town Code, creating Article 7, titled Emergency Procedures, providing for findings of fact, intent, and purpose, providing for regulations, providing for repeal of laws in conflict, providing for severability, providing for inclusion into the code, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney. Emergency Procedures Act, Councilman Diegues.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and as you may recall, we did not have any procedures with respect to declaring an emergency and ending the emergency once declared. It was kind of just based off of statutory construction. So this is just providing some clearer direction in our own code as far as how this works, and it provides the council greater feedback in the emergency process, which is something we lacked before, or rather we did not have clear guidance on. So all this does is clarify what is in state statute and brings it down into our code. So with that, I move its adoption as it is presented in the agenda.
Second. Any discussion on Emergency Procedures Act, Council? I know this is coming back in second reading. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Item 11C, ordinance in first reading. Councilmember Diegues.
Yes.
Councilmember Ruano.
Yes.
Councilmember Fernandez.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Collazo.
Yes.
Councilmember Alvarez is absent. Councilmember Rodriguez is absent. Mayor Sid.
Yes.
The motion passes. Item 11C, ordinance in first reading.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're on to item 11D. Mr. Attorney.
An ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of Miami Lakes, Florida, approving adopting a non-ad valorem assessment rule for special taxing districts, approving, adopting, and ratifying special assessment district rates for special taxing districts, including but not limited to security guard and multi-purpose maintenance, providing for severability and providing for an effective date.